Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target morning show. We're coming at you live from Vegas this morning, specifically inside the Caesars Palace. And you can see behind me the Vanderpump Lounge, which is a pretty cool place. It was new a couple years ago, but a pretty swanky place if you're looking for an interesting place in Vegas. And you can see everything here in Vegas is decked out for Christmas. There's a shot down the Forum Shops hallway there. So really looking beautiful this time of year. Got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the merger between Aphria and Tilray. If those are names you heard of, you're probably already a marijuana investor then. But big merger out there, news in the marijuana space. All of those are popping. All those stocks are popping today. So that's one thing we'll take a look at. Also, Bitcoin's over 20,000 for the first time. So we'll talk about how you can get invested in that if that's something that you're interested in. So with that, thanks for tuning in, and let's get started with today's show. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Wednesday, December 16th. Have a great show for you today. We're going to talk a stimulus deal that looks more and more like it's going to happen. Bitcoin's over 20K. Retail sales are down, so that's kind of dragging on the market as we open here. And, vaccine update, 130,000 vaccines have already been administered in the UK this week. So, good news. You'd, of course, want to temper short-term expectations on exactly what the vaccine can do, but certainly trending in the right direction. All right, make sure you have your windows open this morning. Your call sign, or make sure you have a call sign in the chat window there, and then all attendees selected as well. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation. So you have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything you hear in this presentation. Full disclaimer information is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, our mission objectives today, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Primarily today, we're talking about the capital appreciation portion of that, of growing our money. As you heard in the intro, Aphria and Tilray merged. They announced that this morning. There's a conference call going on right now, so there's going to be more to follow as far as the details, but that's going to turn them into a $4 billion market cap company, which is going to be the largest cannabis company or, marijuana company in the world. Both stocks are up big. Tilray is the name that's going to survive this, so Aphria will go away sometime in probably about 6 months from now when the merger goes through. Shares of each other, they'll work all that out. Aphria CEO Irwin Simon, who is quite an aggressive CEO, has been looking to merge for a while now. They tried to buy Aurora Cannabis last year, didn't work out, but now they bought Tilray, keeping the Tilray ticker with him in charge as well. As far as the stocks across the board, the marijuana stocks are up. Aphria ups 10%. Tilray's up 28%, Canopy Bro 3%, Corona's 3%, and Aurora Cannabis 4%. So the only other one, if you look down there at all those names I just mentioned a few lines down, is MJ, which is how I really recommend you invest in the cannabis theme. Is haven't seen the numbers on it, but you can expect it to be up 3 to 4% today. So that's what we're going to be talking about for our topic of the day. For our question of the day is, look, Bitcoin just went over 20,000. So guess what? Is it time to buy? Chuckle, right? We've been talking about this forever. We said it is going to have resistance there at 20,000. And sure enough, now that it's over 20,000, I would bet that the thing screams higher to 25,000, because everybody who's been hesitant is now going to buy. And that's not going to include me. If it includes you, then that's on you. But certainly this momentum and shattering the ceiling is going to take the thing higher. So if you want to own it, and I've become a little more savvy as I've been in the money management business for now almost a decade, the Important part is if you have FOMO, fear of missing out on something, and you want to participate in it, you need to buy a little bit of it. If you don't have 20K in your wallet, try to go out and buy one Bitcoin. You can buy this Greystone Bitcoin Trust Company, which I will show you at the end how all of that works. You're going to pay a premium. So it's kind of like buying a coin. So if you think I want to buy silver and you end up getting silver coins, you're going to pay a premium, right? Because it took somebody to go out there and make that silver into a coin and then market it. So you're going to pay, 20, 25% more than what the underlying silver is worth. Same thing with Bitcoin. You're paying a premium. But kind of like with coins, if everybody pays a premium, when it comes time for you to sell your coins, as long as the person buying it from you also pays a premium, then you kind of pass that on. So if you're interested in Bitcoin and you don't want to put 20 grand in it, that's a way to get involved, and then you can go from there. All right, our flow today is going to be long, short, open, short, long. We're going to talk about long-term investing first and foremost, because that's the priority, and then we'll also do some short-term investing. Have a couple of stocks for you in the chat room. Let me pull that up and just refresh that real quick for the names that just got in. There you go. We have one long in laser. You've heard me talk about that ad nauseum for about a week now. And then one short, and then we have some other options to take a look at there. Okay. All right, we'll get through our long-term investments. We're going to look at each of those, and we'll get into our short-term trades. You just saw that in the chat room. We'll execute the market open, transition to the question of the day. Again, please ask questions so I can answer those for you. That is why I'm here. All right, excuse me. If you have any tech support issues, reach out to me at steve@ototnow.com. All right, let's take a look at Think Pipes this morning. We'll take a look at where the market has been. So there's our trades. I told you laser long and pin short. Already have those drawn and ready to go, but focusing on the long-term investing first, right? So where is the market going? Well, we had congestion going into the election, and now we're just kind of trucking higher. What's carrying us higher right now is stimulus deal hopes and the fact that there is a vaccine. What are the potential threats to that is the vaccine, the COVID outbreak continues to worsen, and outpaces the good news we get from the vaccine, which is going to be delayed, or the vaccine doesn't work, or the side effects are like awful, or we just got in retail numbers. So for the first time in 7 months, the retail numbers have gone down. So what does retail number mean? That's spending, right? That's you and me and everybody else en masse going out and, well, maybe not going out, but at least logging in to our Amazon and buying stuff, because there's a lot of that. Pandemic, there's retail therapy, right? And I can't go out, so I'm gonna have stuff delivered to my door, and that's going to make me happy. I know a lot of people believe that. So that's been on fire. Going into Christmas, the biggest retail event of the month, now we have numbers that are actually down. So that's interesting, right? Or did everybody do their Christmas shopping in October? I don't know. But yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, we had the electoral college vote. So the election is pretty well behind us. We're still looking at the runoffs in Georgia that could affect things, but I think it's pretty well a done deal, and moving on towards the inauguration. So that's kind of what we have going on for the big picture stuff. In the short term, again, it's kind of all about stimulus, and is it going to happen this week? Well, today's Wednesday and we've got 2 more days, right? I don't think it'll happen today, but I do think it happens by the weekend. So here was the anticipation yesterday going in on a deal, Apple up 5% yesterday. So on some good news. So really the whole market was pretty much screaming higher yesterday. It continued to this morning until those retail numbers came out. Now it's kind of a little bit of a hangover from yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at CNBC.com, and I will show you those futures this morning. So here we go. All right, let me refresh that. Okay, so barely hanging in the green really across the board. So again, negativity with the retail numbers. You see that as the top line there, weak retail sales. Okay, as far as the around the world, Europe is up big. That's nice. Asia is mixed, but barely in the red there, so almost green across the board. Here's our numbers from yesterday, 1% and its strength right across the board. So sometimes the NASDAQ leads, sometimes the Dow leads. But really everything is up just over 1%. So you got to like that. As far as bonds ticking higher, close to that elusive 1%. Be nice to get back above that. Oil sold off a little bit, but not much, holding 47. Gold and silver are up a little bit, especially silver. So now that we have a Democratic president, if the Electoral College voted yesterday, guess what popped? You have silver popping, and you have gun sales popping across the board. So American Outdoor, which is the old outdoor brands, popped up almost 10% overnight based off of the Democratic president actually becoming a thing. So it's kind of funny how those stocks react sometimes. And then, of course, here's your Bitcoin up at 20,600, a 6% jump. So now that Bitcoin just moved 6% higher, everybody's going to log into Robinhood today and buy some GBTC, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit later. Okay, let's get back to the American headlines. And refresh here real quick. Okay. Well, here's their main headline: 900 billion to be released today. Maybe we'll see. Again, not sure today, but certainly Thursday or Friday. McConnell's on board, so pretty much I think that's a go. We shall see. There's your retail number headlines, more sharply than expected. All right. The Fed does meet today. So again, every time there's a Fed meeting, there's a meeting every 6 weeks and an announcement every other, every 3 weeks. So in between that, so you have the meeting today. So there's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern. There will be an announcement from the Fed, and they're not expected to move interest rates. But depending on what words they use, they could certainly shake the markets if they say something unexpected, if you will. JP Morgan upgrading Twitter, making it a top pick. I don't necessarily believe that, but refinancing continues to go on. Snowstorm starting to hit, so that's not good. Okay, that's about it for the headline review. So let's get into the individual names. So the merger from Aphria and Tilray. So Aphria, again, they bought a Sweetwater brewing company not too long ago, which means they're trying to get into and people have already done this to some extent, but they're kind of taking it to the next level of getting into the CBD infused drinks or CBD infused alcoholic beverages. Even more interesting, right? More than one thing going on there. So I don't know how effective that stuff is or really anything about it other than it's certainly, if you're participating in either of those, if you want to combine them, then, good for you, right? So we'll see how that kind of works out. And then, so then they tried to buy Aurora Cannabis, again, Canadian firm, not happening. And then buying Tilray is huge. They said the headquarters is going to be the U.S., so that'll be interesting as well, because right now currently headquartered in Canada. So I like the index fund the best here because you have exposure to all of this, and really at an entry point that was no worse than midsummer, if you will. So here was kind of the who knows if the Democrats are going to get elected. Here's the election. You can see the big pop there, the overly optimistic pop, if you will, and then kind of settled back in and really straight line higher from there. So it's kind of sold off a little bit. I do think it's going to go higher on the news, and the move to the U.S. headquarters, I think, is a big deal. When you look at the other stocks that are affected, again, Tilray being the one being bought, it doesn't show the move up here today, but Tilray is up 28%. So that's going to take it back to $10 or so on Tilray. And Aphria kind of been a little more on fire because the CEO is so aggressive. It's the move up from that $4 up to the $8 range. What's that, a 60% move up or so? Kind of chilled out a little bit here recently, but again, you kind of knew they were going to do an acquisition. They already bought the brewing company, so somewhat expected. They are up 10%, so that takes them $8 up to about $9. So kind of at their all-time highs there. Again, I wouldn't buy either of these. I would simply stick with the index fund. Other names out there, Canopy Growth. I do have that in a few portfolios. If you're forced to pick me an individual name, I say Canopy Growth. So again, taking a look, pretty much the same chart across the board, except for they kind of got some credit for refusing to be bought by Aphria. So that was kind of nice. So, but again, down there popping up 3% on this. So if you were to have to hop into an individual name, I think Canopy Growth is probably your best bet. Now across the board here, let's go back to MJ. Across the board, all of these companies are losing money. So that can be a major concern, right? Now, Amazon lost money for 19 years before it became profitable and turned into the beast that it is today. So you can stay unprofitable for a long time. However, there is the risk there that they don't ever survive this unprofitability. So I like the theme as far as the legalization and taxation from the US government. I do think that's going to happen, and I like the financial aspect of that. What I don't like is it is also, marijuana is also called weed because it grows like a weed. You can pretty much grow it anywhere. So if you can grow it anywhere, including private consumers, then there could be a supply issue, right? People could grow their own, and even part of the legalization will likely be you can have so many plants at your own house or something like that. So there's a competitor there. It's much easier than, in theory, I haven't done it myself, but I've heard it's much easier than brewing your own beer, which people try that generally turns out terrible. And if it turns out good, you just can't brew enough to kind of keep up. But with weed, you might be able to. I don't know. And then the other concern that's always been with this is how many users are actually running the company, right? So you kind of run into the drug company run by druggies. Is that good? No, that's not good. I don't know that that's necessarily a concern, but that's certainly going to be a headwind for the stock because people are going to believe that whether it's true or not. So, and you saw Elon Musk smoking a joint on the Joe Rogan show. So probably not the end of the world if they are users, because Elon Musk tends to be able to continue to do okay. But it's a headwind out there. So individual name Canopy Growth is the way to go if you are going to go with the overall theme, or just take the whole index, which again is the appropriately named MJ. All right, let's go ahead and switch. We'll take a look at our long name here today is Laser. Again, I don't have Schwab pulled up because I can't silence Kramer in the morning. So here's our long name. Again, this is Luminar. So let me get to the Luminar Technologies. This is the light detection and ranging technology that's inside all of the self-driving cars. So again, it went from a stock of, it was a SPAC actually, a special purpose acquisition company that bought Luminar and kept the Laser name. So once it came out of the SPAC world at $10, raged up here to almost 50 or just north of 40, if you will. 48, I guess. And then it's kind of crashed back down. So it was the hottest stock on the planet here for like a week and a half ago. I like it now. It's come all the way back down to 22.50. It is up 10% today. So we'll take a look at exactly where it is. It's going higher. They have a deal with Mobileye, a joint deal that is kind of the news cycle thing that is taking it higher today. They already had the deal. So it's not really an announcement of the deal. It's the announcement of details in the deal, which is taking it back higher. So again, this is largely expected. You could also have this as a long-term investment. So, if you buy it for a trade today, you have to get out of it. But you also, if you enter here for a long-term investment, I think you'll be happy, even with the 10% move higher here. I'm still a buyer of the technology there. There are other companies out there. LVDR, I believe, is the second name. On the short side, we have a company called PEN, P-E-N, which is Penumbra or Penumbra. I'm probably saying that wrong. They had a massive recall on their catheters. I don't know if that's all they sell, but again, tricky price point to short this, but I think it's a pretty clear short. Again, a downgrade as well as the recall on the catheter. So down here see all these class action suits and things going on. So a lot of negativity in that name. So that is going to be our short. All right, let's get rid of that and switch over to ThinkPipes, where we are already set up. There's a CEO resignation out there today, MRAM, M-R-A-M. We aren't going to take a look at that because the stock's already down 20%. But again, CEO resigned overnight. There's some other names I put in the chat room for going higher that I'm not going to really look at initially. I may switch to a little later on. All right, I'm all set up here. I need to get ready for the open. And the reason I do this is, again, I chop these when they're successful, right? I put them on the YouTube channel so people can see what we do here in the morning. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day. You see 3 screens in front of you on the Think Pipes platform. On the left screen is the SPY. That's a 1 minute of the S&P 500. Futures were up. They're almost getting ready to turn red there based off of negative retail numbers, but hopes of stimulus may take the market higher today. Then our 2 trades, we have laser long, which is, stand by for the bell. Laser long, which is a Luminar, is a company that is in a contract with Mobileye, and the details are coming out. You can see it's up 10%. We'll try to trade that. It's a little better trade point if you get into it higher. So I would like to see it sell off and then can move higher. All right, as far as PIN, PIN had a massive product recall. It's already selling off pretty hard here. So again, you're gonna need about a $2 stop if you get in this, and it's going to have to back up here a little bit before I'm willing to take it short. Otherwise, we'll look at the long in laser. We have some other longs to flip to as well if the market goes long. All right, I'm not willing to take this down here at 172. It's just gone too far. If we can get it back up at 173, you can hop in short. And 175 is going to be your stop. So again, I want it to come back up to 173 to be able to short. If it touches that, we can hop in. Otherwise, we're not going to take that short just because the stop will be too big. Almost got there. Oh, you're killing me. Killing me. Yep. Looks like we are going to miss it. I'll put my note right there real quick just in case it does bounce up. So again, if it does come back up, 173 and 175 are our numbers. Let's see, with the $2 stop, 171, 169, 167 is the exit. So that's pretty much all the way gone. Let's see what we're going on in laser here. It's selling off pretty hard, and I do kind of like this as a long-term name. So it's shocking that it's fallen off. And crap, there's our, yeah, had we taken it, that was our 3R point right there. So did not take it, did not get the entry, but just drawing it up as far as the ladder there of how that would have gone. I certainly can't take it now. It's already up down over 10%. It may continue to sell off today because it's a pretty negative headline, but we don't have it as far as a trade. All right, do we hop into laser long here? I do kind of like it. So it's going to need to show some love. So 24.23. Let's go laser long at 24.50. So make a note there. I do think it hits it pretty quick. There it is, 24.50. You're on a 20-cent stop. So 20-cent stop is down at 24.30. Again, we're taking this long, so I'll draw another arrow there. And I really like this trade because that just sold off way too hard for no reason, unless there was a headline that I missed, but nothing's popping up. So 24.50 with 20-cent stops. So 24.70 is our first R. 24.90 is our second R, and then our exit point is 25.10. If you do want to keep a little bit of this as far as a trade or switch it to an investment, again, just keep a third of your shares. So again, we're in it at 24.50 and going long here. So I like how that's set up, and I like our entry there. Off on another screen doing something for just a second. All right. And looks like we almost hit it while I was on another screen. So we need 25.10 for our exit point, and you can go ahead and exit laser. Again, if you want to keep a piece of this, that's fine. Obviously, you see it's kind of screaming higher there. So to recap this trade, so when it opened and you have a long, even though you even though it starts working against you, this is really just 2 minutes of selling. So that's profit taking overnight. So then when you see what you're looking for is kind of a double bottom. I mean, this would be technically a double bottom. But as it starts to come back higher, you've got that 24 point, whatever your stop's going to be. And we said it was going to be a 20-cent stop. So you wait for it. I'll say, what's the low of the day? 24.31. So we want to go 24.30. You simply quickly go, okay, I want a 20-cent stop. So I'm going to add that. That's 24.50. And that determines your entry point. Now, it could easily, you want to stay true to the math. So it could easily hit that 24.50 and reverse right back and you're out an R. So be it. If it does, there's going to be days where you're going to be down 1 risk unit. However, the entry on this one was kind of pristine. And the fact that we got at 24.50, it went to 1 R in the first minute and it went really to, what's that? 25.30, 25.50. That's what a 5 R point. Basically a dollar move up. Draw the 4 R in here too. So everybody's clear. Moved $1. So if you take 1,000 shares, that's $1,000 for on a $200 risk, right? And it looks like it's even going to go higher from here. So really pretty pristine entry. But that's how you kind of work that entry. And then if you kept some of it, good on you. I have it as long-term investment, so I'm obviously thrilled that I'm up 12% on the the big position. But as far as the trade, we'll go ahead and close that out for today. It looks like 6R. 6R and on fire there, going higher. Actually didn't draw it in the right place, but that's all right. All right, transitioning back to this short would have worked, but again, it went so fast you just can't take it. So let's switch over and see what's going on in the big picture. Excuse me. All right, here's our big board. We're looking off to the left is where I'm going to talk to these. So Clickstream's a little bit in play lately. They're up 22%. Laser up 13%. That's the one we were looking at today, again, on the Mobileye news. Helion is the old shell, so it's up 5%. Twitter up 4% on the upgrade from, I think it was JP Morgan. I'm on Twitter now every day, multiple times a day. It's kind of cool. From a right now impact, but the advertising isn't really all that strong. I've never clicked on an ad in Twitter where I have on Facebook. And I've bought stuff off of those ads on Facebook. So I mean, they're working. I just haven't with Twitter. I've not seen anything that's really caught my eye. Or Twitter, you're kind of in the mood to get entertained. I'm not on TikTok, but my daughters send me TikToks. And that's kind of like I want to be entertained for 15 seconds kind of thing. Where Facebook, you're kind of like, hey, I wonder what everybody's up to. So a little more sticking power with Facebook than it is for Twitter. And again, the stock has run up kind of huge, so I really wouldn't touch it here. FireEye bouncing after being hacked. That's kind of funny. PayPal, we talked about payment processors yesterday, PayPal and Square. PayPal's up artificially because Bitcoin just busted 20,000. Now, if you're buying PayPal because you want exposure to Bitcoin, I think you've got some cloudy thinking going on there. But if you're buying PayPal because you like the PayPal digital processing part and you want a side exposure to Bitcoin, I can go for that. I think both Square and PayPal have run up too much, so they're not getting my dollars, but I see the thesis. Alibaba is one of the best values in the market right now, so I am still a buyer. I generally buy some every day for across the book. There's MJ we talked about. Where'd you go with MJ? We talked about that today. So it's only up 1%. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would be up more. LCA, I saw it bopping around in here somewhere. It's gone now. Again, that's the Golden Nugget Online Gaming. That whole thing's been delayed. So again, it ran up big with the end of November, switched to the GNOG ticker, and it's not happening, and it's not the end of November anymore, kids. It's halfway through. There's LCA, halfway through December. So that kind of needs to happen. Cyber's a name I like. That's an index fund for cybersecurity. All right, so a lot of things are up. Ooh, Clickstream's up 30%. All right, let's look on the downside. Okay, if you've been following along this at all, CLXPF and LKYSF, I'm trying to remember the names offhand. They're both psychedelic names. These things have been on fire. They're both penny stocks, and they're moving. They move all over the place. If you skip IQ, which is the Chinese Netflix getting hammered, don't know why. I'll have to look into that. But that Mind Medicine and Revive Therapeutics at RVVTF. Those are your psychedelic names. They were in play, and then they're not. They're targeted heavily by the news newsletter folks that tell you that these are the stocks that are going to, 10,000x your money, put in 5,000 now and retire when you're 5 years from now on your yacht, all that nonsense. Those are all over the place. So you see those being pumped and you see them being dumped. So I would view those as pure gambling. I'm not a believer in the thesis of psychedelics being able to unlock mental health issues. But I know there's people that are. So PLTR is another name that is down. Not worried about Palantir long-term. Workhorse, not worried about it long-term. Tesla off a little bit. Airlines got downgraded significantly today, so expect that those will be selling off. Double downgrades actually in the airlines. Okay, just want to look back at our. Yep, that's why you exit when you exit. So if you did keep a few shares, I would basically put the stop back here at the 3-hour point. So if it hits the 3-hour point, you're out and you're up 3-hour across the board. And if it doesn't, then you stand to go higher. So looks like it's about to hit it. So anyhow, I would exit that trade and call it good. All right, let's go back to, don't need to see that. Let's get rid of that. And you need to go to here, this Greystone Bitcoin Trust Company. Okay, making a note for myself, chop that out, the replay. All right, so here's your Greystone Bitcoin Trust Company. This is how you can own it. Again, it's up 4% today. I think this is live. We'll refresh it to see if that's actually still, yep, it is live. So you're looking at a 1-year chart once it pops up here. So if you want the exposure, it loosely follows Bitcoin, and it's at a divide by 1,000 price point. For some reason, the chart's not coming up. There it is. So Bitcoin's, if you put the two charts side by side, they would be almost exact images. However, you're looking at $23 instead of $20,000, and there's that 30% premium. Actually, that looks like more like a 15% premium. But you're going to pay a premium in, and you're going to pay a premium out. So as long as everybody pays the premium, you can basically own this as a Bitcoin derivative. So if you are interested and you can't help yourself, and you don't want to miss the boat because Bitcoin's going to 100,000, it's going to 500,000, or whatever you think the Bitcoin is going to. For this, kind of pretend currency that's not backed by anybody. But I am warming up to the idea as a digital store of value. You can get into it here. This is how I'd recommend it instead of buying the actual coin itself. If you buy the coin itself, you're going to be in a coin wallet. There's some tax concerns there. Everything with taxes are straightforward here. But if you get in there and you lose your password, your Bitcoin might be gone forever. Spouse might be a little bit mad if you drop 20 grand because you didn't give her the password and then you pass away. So anyhow, those are some things to think about. So, all right, that's all I've got for you today. Real nice trade for today, and we will catch up with you guys next time. Bye.